We get tons of questions from our clients daily, and what's one of the questions that we're hearing most today? Is it a good time to sell my home in Denver?
I think so, but stay tuned. In this video, we are going to talk about just that. This is Tony Onrain. I'm Bob Friel. On this channel, we talk about living, eating, working, playing, chilling, just really, honestly, living that Colorado lifestyle. And before we head off to have Tony talk about the 5 reasons to sell your home, or 5 reasons that now might be the time to prepare your home for a home sale, please head down and like this video. And if you're new here, have the bell click for notifications when new videos are uploaded, because we do this on a regular basis, pretty much weekly.
So if you stick around to the end of the video, what are we going to tell them today, Bob?
We're going to tell you the exact next steps you need to take advantage of the Just Living Realty Group experience here and get your home sold for the price point that you want and move on with your life with all that free cash equity that we've seen build up here the last couple of years in the Denver metro housing market.
While every home situation is unique in regards to selling your house, there are some common factors that we are going to discuss today to explain to you why it might be a good idea to sell your home currently. First on the list, there's record equity, right? It's not many times where you can buy your personal residence, the home you're going to live in for a while, and expect this kind of return on your investment. But over the last 3, 4, and 5 years, we have seen home prices increase 20, 30, even up to 50%. So people are sitting with all-time record highs in equity in their home. So obviously it's an extremely difficult time with economic uncertainty. We're not sure where things are going to go. Probably going to have a little downturn for a little while. So, it might be a good idea to take that equity out, and then you have a number of things you can do. We're seeing some of our investors take that money out, take advantage of high selling prices and reinvest elsewhere. But for those of you that just have a primary residence that has tons of equity, you might want to think about moving somewhere else or downsizing. It's nice to have equity in your house, right? You have a couple $100,000, but you only realize that equity if you sell it. So just remember that. For number 2, we have a lot of families that we see that are concerned because they're living paycheck to paycheck. 63% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck in some way, shape, or form. And that's including families that make over 6 figures. Living paycheck to paycheck could put people in a very dicey situation. So this is a perfect opportunity to take advantage of that equity in your home and go ahead and get yourself out of that bad situation. Number 3 on the list, there's record high consumer debt at this time. So you never want to be in a position where unfortunately you have to use that equity on the debt that you've built up. But the reality is we see a lot of our clients calling us really concerned about this. It's a way to say, look, interest rates are jacking up right now, credit cards are harder to pay off. It's a perfect time if you have that equity to cash out, save yourself that trouble, and then try to reinvest in the home, maybe downsize somewhere in the future. What we see a lot of our customers doing right now is that when they do cash out, they pay that debt off, they get back to even, they put themselves in a good spot. There's nothing wrong with renting for 6 months to a year, maybe 18 months until the market takes a turn and it's more affordable at that time with interest rates going down to purchase your next home. Next on the list is downsizing. So my wife and I just went through this. We lived in a really nice house close to the city that prices were extremely high. It would have been crazy for us not to take advantage of selling. But we wanted to move outside of the city anyway. So what we had the opportunity to do was move 15, 20 minutes outside of the city. We're in the foothills in Morrison. We've got beautiful mountain views, a beautiful house. But because we moved outside of the city and downsized, technically, we downsized with our mortgage. So we saved a lot of money. We didn't have to put as much back into our mortgage, and we still have a beautiful house. And there's lots of options in good neighborhoods out there for you to look at. Next on the list is simple supply and demand. So while the market and the economy has been a little unsure and slowed the market down quite a bit, this is Denver, Colorado, and it's a very popular city. There's a handful of these cities out there, whether it's New York, Chicago, maybe Austin or Nashville. They don't tend to feel the economic slowdown quite as much with the housing market because people are still moving there. We have tons of transplants coming from California, New York, Florida, where those housing prices are high as well. They're not quite as intimidating when it comes to purchasing a house here or selling a home. So you got to think about that. We have only seen about a 7% decrease in home prices, so it's not quite as catastrophic for you looking to sell your home as some people want to make it out to be. Where houses were on the market for 13 days before going under contract, it's only increased to 27 at this time. So anything less than a month to get under contract is really not that bad at all. And one final thought on that topic is that while houses are selling at a slower rate right now, that's really common when you get into the winter months as well. Kids are in school, people aren't looking to relocate and move while the kids are in school. It does create less activity, but there's also less homes on the market. So from a ratio perspective, it's still the same. It's not quite as competitive, but you're still having people really interested in purchasing homes when they do come up.
5 reasons that you may want to consider selling your property and cashing in on that built up all-time high equity. If that's something that you want to take advantage of if you have some questions on, is it the right time for me to list? What does my net sheet look like? How much would I actually get out after I pay all of my closing fees to sell my property and my listing commissions and so on? There's a link in the description. Check out that link, fill in a couple pieces of data points, and we will get you a rough estimate of what your property might be worth so that we can have a starting point for a conversation to see what price point your house could actually be listed for, what should it fetch, what does your net sheet actually look like, and possibly where to deploy that in a downsized situation. Maybe you want to upsize from a condo to a single family home. We are seeing clients do that as well. But first things first, just request a little bit of information. We'll get you on our calendar for a quick Zoom chat. Again, this is a free consultation. And of course, if you're not ready to do that, go ahead, snoop around the channel, get that brain growing. We'll see you on our next one. Stay sweet.